My name is Richardson. I am the Commercial Director at Langdon Customs Excise Solutions. Before Customs and Excise, my background was in retail supply chains. We've also got Dale Hawson. I'll make you stand up because that seems to be a theme, the last one. He's our customs consultant at Langdon's, and in the previous life he was working at HMRC, so feel free to quiz him. Customs can be quite a dry topic, so I'll try and use some practical and engaging examples throughout the session, really. But quickly to introduce Langdon's, we're a software company based in the northwest of England, in a small town called Wigan. So we work in a really niche area of customs known as special procedures. This covers predominantly bonded warehousing and some other customs regimes that help traders like yourselves mitigate your duty spend. So for those of you that don't know what bonded warehousing is, it allows you to store your goods duty suspended until the goods are actually leaving the warehouse for a customer. So as you can imagine, bonded warehousing is a very good cash flow and cash saving tool. However, when goods do leave a customs warehouse, you do have to raise a customs declaration, and that's sort of where Langdon comes in to account for that duty. So as a bit of a brief introduction to Langdon, we do around 20% of all supplementary declarations submitted to HMRC, and we're accountable for well over £1 billion in excise duty spend, so that's for alcohol, tobacco, soon-to-be vapes, and other hazardous goods. So we don't boast to be the biggest software provider in the UK, but we are backed by some of the biggest UK traders out there on the market. So in the manufacturing industry, we work with Komatsu and make mining equipment. In the 3PL industry, we work with bonded warehouses like GXO. And then in the retail and wholesale market, we work with the likes of Tesco's as well. In terms of our three core offerings, we offer software for people to run a bonded warehouse compliantly, as there are quite a lot of HMRC requirements that are required for that. We offer a customs bureau, which is running your bonded warehouse for you, and we also offer a customs consultancy for any customs and excise legislation and sort of applications that need to be done. Just in terms of some of the UK traders actually utilising bonded warehousing and the Langdon duty management system, some of those traders in the UK you might know, so World Duty Free, when you go on holiday and you buy your alcohol and you buy your perfume, one of the reasons they can sell that duty suspended is because of taking advantage of the customs special procedures and a Langdon system. There are obviously other more appropriate retailers in there, such as Tesco's and United Wholesale. They mitigate their duty spend by paying the duty when it's being packed and ready to be shipped out to their customers or into a pig face. So there are quite a few legitimate ways of improving the duty spend. And I should have touched on as well, if there's any sort of people on my slide that you think I'd like to understand a bit more about bonded warehousing, Aquavape went and visited M Brown just to understand how their bonded warehouse operates in the UK market. So what are some of the upcoming challenges and changes to your industry? So vaping products duty introduces obviously a significant new duty cost, making duty suspended warehousing far more attractive offering for wholesalers, distributors and retailers such as yourself. As you'll be well aware, previously it was only attracted 6% customs duty plus VAT. Now we're going to be hit by a triple tax, so that is customs duty at 6%, give or take, your excise duty and your VAT, so that's one of the strictest sort of tax implications compared to the other industries out there. Vaping products duty adds around £2.20 per 10 mil of excise duty. That's going to obviously exceed the actual product value itself. So 100 millilitres of shot fill is now £22 more expensive, for 10 mil is going to be £2.20 more expensive. And I think the previous 2 mil bots, more popular with the younger generation, rises by roughly 7%. So there is obviously a commercial advantage to retailers and wholesalers out there. Operating an HMRC approved duty suspended customs warehouse will allow you to improve your cash flow advantage and any cash saving advantages on your exports. There are obviously quite a few compliance requirements as well. So at the end of the day, HMRC needs assurances that your revenue is protected. So although you can operate a customs warehouse and suspend your duty with VAT, there are some HMRC sort of compliance tick boxes that you need to complete. You need to have a physically secure warehouse, and you need strong data capture, record retention, and complete audit trails. It's essential. So whilst someone like Aquavape can take advantage of the customs warehouse, they need to make sure they've got all the systems and processes in place so that they are accounting for duty at the right time. And that's where a strong WMS and a strong duty management system comes into place. Because if HMRC walk up at the door, they'll expect you to be able to tell them what's duty paid and what's duty suspended. So that's the perfect example with Aquavape. They'll utilise the Langdon duty management systems and software, will be within their bureau, and they're using Argus compliance for their customs authorisations. So they're doing their workflows of goods in all the way through to goods out. So why have they chosen Langdon as well? We've been in the industry, as the previous slide sort of alluded to, for 40 years. Bonded warehousing is everything that we work in. We've offered duty management systems to build and maintain full audit, traceability and integrity. So we're here to help them with their robust sort of inbound data validation so that outbound movements account for the right duty at the right time. So I'm going to hand over now to Dale. He's our customs consultant at Langdon's. And if there's any questions at the end as well, please feel free to ask them.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you to Aquavape for inviting us along today. So what impact are we going to see to retailers with these new obligations? You're going to have duty stamps and deadlines around. So you have a 6-month throughput period from the 1st of October through the 1st of April 2027. So if you get rid of that unstamped stock that's already been manufactured or already been imported into the UK, anything that's new manufactured or new imported from the 1st of October needs to have been stamped and needs to have been duty paid. It's really important that stock that you have on your site from the 1st of April is only duty stamped. If you're found non-duty stamped stock, HMRC will have the full right to seize that stock and to also seize legitimate duty paid stock as well. So you can shut down an entire operation if you found a couple of boxes of just one stamp stock that you've forgotten about. You can return that stock to duty suspense and have it duty stamped. That's something to discuss with suppliers if they're going to facilitate that. They don't have to, but it's an option that's available. Obviously, there's going to be the price impacts. There's £2.20 per 10 mils. It's very significant compared to the sourcing cost of vape products. It is a large percentage of that. So there'll be knock-on effects on commercial arrangements. There's also changes to packaging. There's very specific requirements for where the duty stamp goes, and the vendor has to have some products has to be secure within the packaging. The package can't be opened without either damaging the stamp or the packaging. So suppliers have had a headache over the last few months trying to arrange find out what the stamps are going to look like. It's been only February where we were told the exact dimensions, the size of those stamps. And it's quite a tight timeline to get those turned around from manufacturers and importers. There'll also be a track and trace element. Hopefully that won't touch on actual retailers, that's more into the higher up the supply chain, so the original importer and then the dispatch from that point. And that's similar to tobacco track and trace, but we think a bit less onerous, so that people are skilled at the supply chain. That's just the digital element of the stamp. There will be scanners to let the government know whereabouts it is in the supply chain and who's moving those products. As with any duties, HMRC wants to make sure they get the money, so they have broad enforcement powers. That's going to be similar to what they've got across other excise regimes. So there'll be penalties that they can apply, civil, criminal, and monetary. So you'll have potentially up to 100% of the any duty value that's been evaded. HMRC will be able to assess that as well. So what practical steps can retailers take to make sure you're full foul? As I said, stock management is going to be vital. You don't want to be getting close to April and have unstamped stock that you're not sure if you'll be able to sell, you're not sure if you'll be able to return, and you might end up being stuck with. You should be able to be caught with that. If you're doing regular stock takes at the moment, it might be an idea to start capturing the duty stamp status come October, because you want to know what you've got, so what you need to be shifted, or is it days before that deadline. It's not a good idea to be getting towards the early part of 2027 and not know how much you've got that's duty paid, how much you've got that's not duty paid, or which is which boxes it's in, which shelf it's on. So make sure you're prioritising that non-duty paid stock to sell. Due diligence, I'm sure this is already something that many of you do already with all your suppliers. But it's just verifying that the people you're sourcing your products from, they're legitimate, they say they are. That can be as simple as verifying the legal entities, starting out with that, and checking that they've registered for VPD, the Vape Duty stamp scheme. And it's knowing when to question if things change. So if you get some change in price, some change in routing, make those checks to protect yourself. Question things if they don't seem right to you. Even if there's absolutely nothing wrong, it's not always a red flag. But if HMRC do come knocking, you can say that you've asked the question. It helps to protect you if anything has gone wrong. And there's checks you can make on physical products you're receiving as well. Know what a duty stamp looks like, know what to expect, and then check the values to see that yes, they are legitimately duty stamps, they appear as they should be. And it's not just yourself, but making sure that the staff on the ground who will be handling those products know what to look for and know what to expect, and they're trained to escalate that if they have concerns about products as well. It's all protections for yourself, protections for your business, because it only takes small snowballs for HMRC to be able to come down and get some breaks. Yeah, closing, main thing really is to plan. You're ready for the deadlines for yourself. The main one will probably be the 1st of April next year. That'll be the big countdown to make sure you've got rid of all that duty paid stock, or that non-duty paid stock, sorry. Communicate with your suppliers around what they're expecting from you, what you're expecting from them. Get your supply chain under control, make sure you've got due diligence checks in place. If you're taking on board new suppliers, have a formal onboarding process. And make sure that your staffing teams are aware of what's happening and what to expect. And that's it from me. Any questions, Fabian?
What they've told us so far is that they intend to have personal licenses and a business license as well. The details of that they haven't worked out yet, but that is the intention. I think it will be an add-on, probably. So you'll have an add-on for tobacco, you'll have an add-on for vaping products.
Okay, so for alcohol, we have to sit exams to get these
I-
personal licenses. Is that expected?
I will be pushing for not just a tick box exercise. I'm looking for it to be not difficult to get, but just not too easy to get. So things like making sure you've got age verification processes in place, as Bobby pointed out, following the regulations, all that type of thing. And then I think the ability then for agencies to remove that license if there's continuous violations. And I think you'll also see larger fines as well. So on the HMRC side, they're already looking at £10,000 fines for any retailer that's caught with over 500 illegal products. You'll get £10,000 fine. We want a similar fine on the licensing side for those that don't follow the rules of licensing. Hope that helps.